Hello everyone, this is Ultimate Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a Chinese costume fantasy film called Soul Snatcher, released in 2020. Don't waste your time, be ready for some spoilers ahead. The film opens with a fox, who is chasing after a frog, but unfortunately, the fox almost falls from the cliff by the accident. Meanwhile, a little boy arrives and wants to help the fox, but he accidentally slips off the cliff instead. The fox safes, but it wants to help him back. Its claw accidentally rips the boy's hand, making the boy lose his grab. The boy plunges off the cliff. As the fox goes to meet him, it appeared he died. The fox then is very sad and cries while one of its tears plunges on the injured hand of the boy. After that, the movie cuts to 500 years later. A tribe of fox spirits in human form gather under the command of their leader. Many of the fox spirits go by the leader's invite, but one of them, named Bai, doesn't have the tickets because he is a weak fox and a half-breed, so he didn't allow to join. However, Bai is a person who is curious to hear, so he decides to sneak in to watch out. At the ceremony, the leader of the tribe arrived, who is a 9-tailed fox demon and turns into the human form. He welcomes everyone in there. He declares this event, he will tell the young foxes about how to become immortal. But for this process, the young foxes must be finding the one thing called elixir. Elixir can be found in the body of the human. However, not all people have the elixir in the body, but it was provided by volunteers in the deserved time. After the tribe leader explained, he called many of his students to the stage, who got the elixir from the human. One of the students, named Azzy, got a red elixir, while other students got the black elixir. It turns that, whatever the color of the elixir, which must have a benefit but except the black color. Azzy tells everyone in there that she has disguised into the human's wife and pretends to almost die, which her husband volunteers to give his elixir to her. The leader then appreciates her, and as the result, she gets the 5-tailed. After that, the leader declares that, on the 15th of the next month, there will be an opportunity of occurring only once every 1,000 years to gain the white elixir, which can make the young foxes become immortal or the first-class fox spirits with 9 tails. The leader then called the young foxes to move their hands into the furnace to show them the clue of their target. The furnace doesn't work because among the young foxes is one absence, and that fox is Bai. Immediately, Bai shows up and wants to join the mission. The leader doesn't want him to join, but for making the furnace active, the leader allowed him to join. The furnace starts to mark on the hand of the young foxes, but Bai didn't get it. However, Bai tries to move his hand into the furnace again, but this time, the furnace starts to absorb his hand. Bai then moves his hand back, but his mark has not as completed as the others, which his target is only the long ears. After the ceremony has ended, the leader talks with Bai about his mission. The leader says if Bai can get the white elixir, he will go to heaven because he used to exile from there. Bai starts to be surprised, but immediately, the leader says he just joking. After that, the leader says Bai is a half-breed, that he found him on the roadside, so in the mission if Bai was not careful enough he will turn into an original form. The leader then gives him a blade to defend himself, and Bai pretends to hug the leader, causing him to have the chance to loot a communications device called Wuxi from the leader. The device can speak and shows that it doesn't want to go with him, but he didn't care and takes it with him. After Bai leaves, the co-leader arrives and shows some of the fox's corpses to the leader, as he claims that they failed in the mission and were killed by the human. Seeing this, the leader starts to worry about Bai and he orders the co-leader to observe Bai in the mission. Cut to Bai. He arrives at a small village and he rests and eats some of the foods in a small restaurant. There, a young traveling scholar named Zijin, who is looking for his brother in the painting. Zijin tries to ask the people about the information of his brother in the painting until he meets Bai in the restaurant. However, Bai didn't interest in Zijin because he focuses on the food, causing Zijin to leave him. After Zijin leaves, the communication device, Wuxi, tells Bai that his target, who can provide the elixir to him, is nearly there. Hearing this, Bai rushes to leave the restaurant and finds his target, and Wuxi tells Bai that his target must have long ears. Bai then arrives at a small ceremony, a place that an elder is healing a little boy from the illness. The elder shows several demon souls in the painting to the villagers before he cuts a demon's leg in the painting and takes the blood to heal the boy. Seeing this, Bai goes to find his target elsewhere because he is scared the elder catches him as the demon in the painting. Meanwhile, Bai clashes with Zijin accidentally and Bai falls into the donkey stable, causing the donkeys shocked and run out of the stable. During that time, Zijin's donkey runs and crashes Bai and taking him out of the village. Seeing this, Zaijin hurries to pursue his donkey, while the elder, who uses the blood of the demon to heal the boy, uses the magic to hide in Zaijin's body. Cut to Bai. The donkey drops him in the forest while Zaijin arrives and asks him about the donkey. Bai says he doesn't know about Zaijin's donkey because it runs away, but Zaijin still pursues him to demand the donkey. The two run until they were tired while the two realized that they were lost in the forest. There, they spotted an abandoned house and they decided to stay there a night, and Bai promised that he will be finding the donkey back. Saying about the donkey, it has reminded Bai about his target, who has a long ear, so he thinks Zaijin is his target. After that, the two stayed in the abandoned house and Bai tries to be a friend with Zaijin. However, Zaijin is still angry with him because he makes his donkey lost in the forest. Zaijin then tells him that the donkey is the property of his brother, who is the person that he is looking for in the painting. Zaijin says his older brother was lost the information over the years since he goes to the capital city to exam to become a government official. The next several days, in the capital city, will be having another exam, so he must be going to the capital city to exam and also find his older brother. Later that night, Bai has the purpose to kill Zaijin and find the elixir, but the co-leader appeared and warns that he should be got it by volunteering from the target. Hearing this, Bai requests the co-leader to do the one thing for him, which is finding the Zaijin's donkey. The next morning, the donkey was found and Bai pretends to be a person who wants to go to the capital city for the exam, and the two decides to journey together. Not long after, the two arrived at a small village, where was covered by fog. There they decided to rest in a small guest house, while the guest house owner leads them inside and they find many of the scholars, who want to exam to become the government official as them. Later that night, Zaijin was lured by a frog demon, which produces the gold from its butt. Zaijin follows the frog until he meets the guest house owner. Immediately, the guest house owner starts to attack him and turns him to see everything in the demon's vision. Zaijin sees many of the scholars were killed by the frog demon, while he can be the next. The frog demon then wants to consume him, but fortunately, Bai appears in time and helps him from the frog demon. Even though Bai tries to help him by the best, but they cannot escape from the frog demon. Suddenly, Bai decides to sacrifice his life to make Zaijin escape because one death is better than the two dead. After Zaijin has escaped, the movie reveals that the frog demon is a friend of Bai. He prepares this plan because he wants Zaijin to give him the elixir by volunteering. A little later, Zaijin returns but didn't come to provide his soul to exchange with Bai's life, but he comes for died together with the demon. Zaijin, with many of the bombs and a torch in his hand, threatened the frog demon to die together if the demon doesn't spit Bai back. Meanwhile, the frog demon tries to absorb him, but unfortunately, what the frog demon absorbed is the bombs and torch, making a blast, making Bai outside. Bai is then unconscious and almost transform into the real form, but the co-leader arrives and knocked out Zaijin. Later on, the co-leader takes Zaijin on a boat while he is still unconscious. He then blames Bai and the frog demon for their dumb plan, and he says, what if the elixir in Zaijin's body is black, what they have done is right or not? The co-leader then suggested Bai lead Zaijin into the capital city and he will help Bai to know about the color of the elixir in Zaijin's body. During talking, Zaijin was awake, causing the frog demon and the co-leader to split their way by jumping into the river. Zaijin tries to find Bai on the boat and then Bai shows up, but he appeared with the half-demon form. Zaijin then seems to be scared of him, until Bai reveals that Zaijin used to save his life when 500 years ago, and currently, he comes to requited his kindness. After hearing this, Zaijin calms down and goes to talk with Bai and he heals Bai's injuries as well. Zaijin then seems to be happy because he always thinks the demon spirit returned to requite the kindness of the human as just the legend, but now it is real. During that time, Zaijin remembers he doesn't see the donkey on the boat, so the co-leader jumps out of the river and decides to transform himself to be the donkey, because he forgets to take the donkey from the guest house. On the journey, Bai shows Wuxi to Zaijin, while we can know he and Zaijin are closer. Not long after, the men arrived at the capital city, where is the exam place, but there also has many brothels. There, a little boy appeared and tells Zaijin that having someone who want to meet him. The boy led Zaijin into a brothel, while Bai was interrupted by the brothel manager. The movie reveals that the brothel manager as the co-leader has disguised and prepared this plan to confirm the color of the elixir in Zaijin's body. Cut to Zaijin, he was locked in a room, while he meets a beautiful girl named Yinglian, who can know about the color of the elixir in the human body. In the fact, she is the ghost and she was ordered by the co-leader. She then tries to lure him, but Zaijin himself tries to stop his feelings from her attractiveness. However, she tries to lure him again and again until the magic of the elder used to hide in Zaijin's body attacks her. She then pretends to be okay, while Zaijin is a gentleman, who always turns his back on her, causing her to be attacked again and again. A little later, she starts crying, but Zaijin thinks she cries because she thinks he did not love her. However, Zaijin comforts her that, after he passed the exam, he will pay to free her from the brothel, and then he will marry her. Hearing this, she seems to be excited, and the two talks until Zaijin has slept. After that, Bai goes to meet her and asks her about the color of Zaijin's elixir. She tells him that she didn't know about this because Zaijin was protected by someone's magic, so she cannot nearly him. Later on, Zaijin was taken to the boat by Bai, as Zaijin is sleeping. Bai then talks with Wuxi that, if Zaijin is not his target, they might being to be a good friend. During that time, the co-leader goes to torture Yinglian because she fails the mission while her soul was kept in the lotus, and the co-leader is controlling it. The next morning, Zaijin appeared to be nervous after realizing the exam has chosen only a few candidates to become the government official. However, Bai comforts him, and the two commit to completing their goal. Not long after, the exam is coming while the exam was thoroughly observed. During the candidates waiting to register for the exam, Bai spots a soul of the ghost, who go into the exam room, but he didn't interested. After that, he and Zaijin into the exam room, and the committee announced that the exam was started. All the candidates try to answer the question by their best, but Bai has no idea and just eats during the exam. Soon the exam has run until the night, while one of the candidates claims that he sees the ghost, and the committee takes him out of the exam. After that, Yinglian's soul appeared in the exam and pulls Bai's soul out of his body. She tells him that the exam room has another soul, who wants to take the candidate's soul, including Zaijin's soul. She says that this time is the good time to take the elixir from Zaijin, and she tells him that Zaijin's body has the white elixir. However, she just wants to buy looting the lotus from the co-leader for the exchange. Hearing this, Bai agrees with her, while the soul of the ghost in the exam room has already completed pulling of Zaijin's soul. Now, Zaijin's soul doesn't know what happens on his body, and he walks until he meets a candidate, revealing his older brother. Suddenly, it turns that his older brother is the ghost in the exam room and starts to attack Zaijin. Meanwhile, Bai appeared and helps him, even though Bai has the opportunity to kill him and take the elixir, but he doesn't do it. Suddenly, Zaijin's brother uses the spell and sends the two to another place, where is covered by the letters. There, Zaijin's soul was plunged into the black hole, and the communications device, Wuxi tell Bai that he should leave Zaijin because this is a chance to take the elixir. Because now Bai considered Zaijin as a friend, so he decides to jump into the black hole to help Zaijin. In the black hole, Zaijin's soul is almost destroyed by his older brother's spell, while Bai's soul is caught by other spirits of the candidate. Wuxi warns Bai that the only way to resolve this situation must be to make Zaijin's brother's soul remember everything. Meanwhile, Bai suggested Wuxi help him with this, and then Zaijin's brother's soul has remembered everything. It turns out, Zaijin's older brother in the past is a person who wants to pass the exam his whole life. He tries to exam all the season, but what he got is fail, until one day he died in the exam room. This is the reason that he always takes the candidate's soul, because he didn't want them to pass. After reminding him about his past, the soul of the candidates was released, but Wuxi has blasted, meaning it was died after helping Zaijin's brother to remember the past. Zaijin's brother's soul starts to be a good ghost and warns Zaijin to careful with Bai, claiming he only wants to take the elixir from Zaijin's body. After saying, his soul has disappeared as Bai and Zaijin were released from the ghost's world and returned to the human world. After that, Zaijin thanks Bai for saving his life, and he wants to give Bai the elixir in his body, but he didn't know after he provides the elixir, he will die. However, Zaijin has a purpose to do first, which wants to release Yinglian from the brothel. Suddenly, Bai tells him the truth about her, which she is a ghost. Bai says that when she was alive, she was sold to the brothel, so she decided to jump into the river, and she has died. After that, her soul was kept in a lotus, and she always eats human's heart and sucked human blood for keeping her beauty. Bai tells him, Yinglian will be released from the brothel, if she can find real love. Later that night, Zaijin with the wedding suit goes to request her to marry him. She seems didn't want to marry him because they are living in different places, but Zaijin didn't care about this. He then tries to explain to her about his love for her until she was so excited that they run away after the curse has been released. Yinglian takes Zijin to run because she didn't want to see him die because she learns that Bai's will take the elixir from his body and he will die. However, Bai goes to chase after them and explains, he now didn't want to hurt Zijin, but Yinglian still didn't believe him. She then tries to kill Bai to ensure Zijin is safe, but Zijin himself is also trying to protect Bai as well. Even though Zijin says he has volunteered to provide the elixir to Bai, but Yinglian still doesn't want he do this. She has almost killed Bai, but meanwhile, a blade stabbed her body, and it revealed that the frog demon has helped Bai. Zijin seeing this thinks this is Bai's plan and then he takes Yinglian to leave him. Zijin takes her away until arrived in nearly the river, but it is so late. She used her last breath for thanks him for his kindness and then she died, making Zijin so sad. Immediately, Bai arrived, while Zijin blames him for the death of Yinglian. Now, he is so sad, so he suggested Bai to kill him, and then Bai himself can take the elixir from his body. Seeing Zijin is very hurt like this, Bai says sorry about everything, and he decides to suicide by stabbing his body and disappearing. Suddenly, Bai has teleported into the fox tribe, and everything reveals that his mission was observed by the tribe leader and the elder, who used magic to hide in Zijin's body. The leader explains to Bai that the fact that an opportunity of occurring only once every 1,000 is not to get the white elixir, but it is the sacrificing the life for each other. He says, in 500 years ago, Zijin was a kid who used to save Bai's life, and Bai himself is also want to help him back. This is called the sacrificing the life for each other. Even though Bai can't help Zijin, but his tears with kindness drop on Zijin's hand, causing it to plant and become the white elixir. The master says that it's his destiny, and Zijin was born in this life only for providing Bai into the immortal. Cut to Zijin, after Bai has disappeared, he goes everywhere to find Bai because he wants to say sorry to Bai since he doesn't believe in the friendship. He walks until arrived in the bamboo forest, and then he meets Bai there. He realized that because Bai is half-breed, so if he doesn't get the white elixir before the dateline, he will transform into the original form. He says he was so happy after having Bai be a friend, and he wants to do the one thing that friends should be done for each other. After talking, he stabbed his body to give the white elixir to Bai. A little later, another Bai arrived. It turns out, Bai that we see before is the co-leader. The co-leader reveals that the elixir of Zijin's body is not white but it is black, which means that it is useless. In addition, he reveals the fact that he helps Bai is just to want to take the white elixir for himself, and as the result, all his efforts are useless. Because the co-leader has killed Zijin, so Bai starts to angry and goes to attack him. Because of the angry power, Bai seems to have the advantage over the co-leader, but suddenly, the co-leader transforms into a six-tailed fox. He then has revenge on Bai and a little later, he has the opportunity to use one of the tails, stab Bai's body. Before Bai died, he touches Zijin's elixir and have a vision about everything in the past that he used to do with Zijin. Immediately, the elixir has changed the color, which turns into the white elixir and flies into Bai's corpse, turning him to become immortal. Now, Bai has the superpower going to attack the co-leader, while the villain seems cannot beat him even once. In addition, Bai pulls one of the co-leader's tails, causing the rest five-tailed. He then almost kills the co-leader, but he remembers Zijin's words, who hope Bai is a good fox. It reminds him about what his friend wants to see, and he allowed the co-leader to leave. After that, Zijin wakes up in the bamboo forest but doesn't have a memory of everything. He then goes to his hometown to live like before. Zijin's grandma asks him that, why he doesn't become the official after he passed the exam. He then says that he goes to the exam as not want to become the official but he just wants to take the donkey for his brother. In addition, he tells the grandma that he always felt forgotten something since he returns home but he didn't know what it was. Many days after, he goes into the forest to find the herb, but he meets an injured fox, who has a body like Bai. Immediately, the movie flashback to the bamboo forest. It turns that Bai is so sad after he died, and Bai decides to sacrifice his immortal to exchange with his life. Meanwhile, heaven allowed him resurrected, but everything in his memory was deleted. At the end of the movie, he takes Bai to feed, and the two live together with happiness, while the movie has ending with this scene. Thank you to everyone that watched my video until the end. What do you think about this movie? Let me know in the comment below. From the Ultimate Recap, see you in the next video.